Something I look forward to as a rally fan each and every year is who shows up to these events. This year's going to be a bit of an odd year, and that makes it even more interesting from my perspective. While looking at the numbers, pretty bluntly, there were very few people running the full or anything near the full national campaign in the U.S. Um, However, the split does things to this. People believe that smaller time Midwestern teams could do a lot more with Rally America, considering A, there's something big that's going to be missing from their championship that allows them to compete for the win, a better chance to compete for the win in the national championship. And two, if you're from the Midwest, all their events are in the Midwest with the exception of two events that are in the Rocky Mountains. That's pretty good. It's all in the flyover states. You don't have to go to the coast. You don't have to go to the West Coast. Pretty nice. So there might be some of them that do that. There are also people who didn't like the management of RA, Rally America, and might come back to do ARA specifically, as that's kind of what people are saying as the main national championship, since it has a majority of the big events from last year. One of the big players in the North American rallying scene is Subaru. They're putting their weight on the ARA side, so that means their factory team, David Higgins and Travis Pastrana, are going to be running only the ARA championship in terms of rally events. They're also going to do Mount Washington Hill Climb. On a separate note, they're going to do the Mount Washington Hill Climb. And those two drivers are going to join their GRC team for some events as well. But stage rally wise, it's just the 6 ARA events. If the event you go to is still in Rally America, sorry, you won't see them. But Subaru also put their contingency program, which is extremely infamous for giving out crazy amounts of money to privateers who equally shell out crazy amounts of money to run the latest of late model 2008 and forward Subarus. To be specific, 2008 to 2014 production class WRX and WRX STI, and production class or open class 2015 or newer WRX and WRX STI. Nothing else though. No Imprezas, no Legacies of any age, no BRZ. Anyway, so basically, by figuring out where the contingency is going, you can kind of guess that most of the privateers that run late model Subarus will probably choose to run the ARA championship and ARA events because they get that contingency money, and it makes it much easier to afford to run these cars, and you're not as reliant on getting the ever elusive sponsorships, which are very difficult to get, not just in rallying, but in pretty much any form of racing in the U.S. So you'll see people like Lachlan O'Sullivan and Tino Fortunato run probably mostly ARA, maybe some Rally America events in addition, or Canadian events. And with the Subaru Factory team, of course, focusing on the ARA Championship, no Rally America events. Maybe they'll run some other Canadian events, which would be cool. But we're not talking about Canada, we're talking about the U.S. So I talked about people who were unhappy with RA, maybe coming back. Well, one of them already confirmed it. Bill Bacon announced he's running the full championship with ARA. He'll start at Kersnage in Canada, which is the first round of the ARA championship. Weird Canadian event, American championship. But they wanted to win a rally, so they got to do that since they couldn't get Snowdrift. So he'll be starting out with an open class, older shaped Subaru like 2008, prepared by Rocket Rally Racing, which runs Subaru Rally Team Canada. Uh, then he'll be getting, from Oregon Trail on, he'll get a new 2015 STI of some kind. Don't know if it's production or open class, but new body style, and he's going to get that from Oregon Trail on, prepared by the same shop. Jeff Seahorn is also building a 2015 STI, but for production class specific. We know it's a production class car. There's the Polish rallyists from the Chicago area, Art Grutska. He's got his Mitsubishi Mirage with Mitsubishi Evolution running gear, that crazy open class machine. Not super insane, but definitely a bit different from just modifying an Evo or a Subaru. He's got his car. He'll run a few events. Peter Patella, another Polish guy from the Chicago area, said he's upgrading to one of those styles of car, but the body shape is unknown. He did have a Volkswagen Polo body shell, but since that's not on the NADA list, aka not sold in the United States or Canada, he can't run it. He can't run that body shell, unfortunately. So probably something else. And lastly, of note for four-wheel drive, there is a Ford Focus RS being built by Team O'Neill, probably to production class rules. And the driver is a mystery at this point. It's still a mystery. Who knows who it is? Could be anyone, although I assume it'd probably be someone who teaches at the school, because there are a couple of previous top-level rally drivers that instruct at Team O'Neill Rally School. Anyway, my preferred style of car is two-wheel drive. Let's get into those cars. Cam Steely, reigning in Rally America two-wheel drive champion, will bring his Ford Fiesta ST to all the Rally America events, which is kind of odd, considering that Tim O'Neill, the ARA chairman, let it slip out before the actual thing was announced that Ford's contingency package for rallying is with ARA, and that contingency package really helps out all the guys who run Fiestas. A lot. It's a lot of money. Trust me. It's a lot of money for a two-wheel drive car. And that is going with ARA. His main challenger in the 2016 two-wheel drive championship was Ryan Millen from a pretty well-known family in U.S. and New Zealand motorsport and mostly rally. His car was this semi-works supported, peculiar near stock Toyota RAV4, and he even had an automatic transmission in there. Engine was completely stock. The only really trick thing they had in terms of usual components was their suspension, which was just a Group N rally suspension. It's not confirmed which championship he's committing to, but considering he's with Toyota, he's probably gonna have to go where Toyota tells him to, for the most part, for the main national championship. Although I could be wrong, he does whatever he likes with the Toyota money. And there's another manufacturer, sort of, that runs in U.S. Rally recently, and that's Honda. They have their employee recreational activity known as Team Honda Research, which has done some rally things over the past few years. I believe they'll bring back their CRZ and Fit they had in previous years in some fashion for some events, but I wouldn't be surprised if this Super Honda rumor comes true and it ends up just being the new Civic Hatch, which is designed to go after two-wheel drive proper after years of, not winning all the B-Spec championships, but winning a number of them pretty handily since there's not much competition. One would think that getting your car from the same place that the chairman of one series works at would mean you really couldn't compete in the other, but that doesn't seem to be the case, as two of the Team O'Neill Fiestas, the first 1-liter turbo Fiesta R2 to be built stateside and run full-time in the States, the second-year driver Dave Wallingford, as he steps into his new Fiesta being finished up being built. Right, well, actually, no, it is finished built. It's in the testing phase right now. After running a R2 Fiesta with a traditional 1.6 liter engine for most of 2015, and then his not necessarily teammate, but other Team O'Neill customer Kiana Chang will also return with her more standard B-spec style Fiesta that also has the 3-pot turbo engine that people have been making a fuss about. There are also other two-wheel drive cars that I love, specifically rear-wheel drive cars, and I know spectators get a kick out of them too. We see them in person, and I'd love to see them on the stages, and I think they will be at some events, and that stuff like the Porsche 964, old Porsche, owned and usually driven by Mark Feinstein, although it's been driven by other people. And then Irishman Barry McKenna with his Honda-powered Mark II Ford Escort. Both are really cool cars. And then that's all I have written down. I don't tell who really else peeks their heads this year. And I'm excited as can be and very impatient for the series to start and for Snatch organizers to update their entry lists. We know we've been spoiled by Rally America updating their stuff pretty much day by day, but like, come on. It hasn't been updated since last year, you could say. Like,